What's up, funky people? I just wanted to make a little update video of what's going on. Um, I've been a little bit overwhelmed. There's so many changes going on that it's scary to think of the potential, because every time you do something, there's something that you're foregoing doing. And every time you don't do something, there's something that you're missing out on. And sometimes it's hard to calculate the cost-benefit analysis. And, when you're calculating something like where to move, where to relocate to, to me that's very overwhelming in terms of really entropy, because I have certain goals that I'm hoping relocating will accomplish. That will get me closer to those goals, that will reduce the entropy, the distance from where I'm at to my potential. And I feel like I'm closing in more and more on so many different realms of potential, whether that be financial or social or romantic or healing, every domain of life. Seeds, have been planted quite some time ago that I'm now really starting to get the fruits of my labor from what I've planted. And some things are still, percolating. There haven't been any harvests on certain investments, and overall it's just overwhelming when you've been planting so many things at once, and now you're getting all these rewards at once, and then that makes more responsibility that you now have to discipline yourself and behold yourself to higher standards. The standards that I've set for myself now are, increasingly getting more intense, and not intense as if it's bad. It's intense because it's so meaningful, and because I'm so worried about collapsing back to, previous states, and especially because I do experience lower states frequently. With the PTSD, it takes me back to times when, I did not have any of the things I have now, or I had some really, really horrible stuff going on. And, it's a scary thing when you are in this present day reality that's very much one thing, or at least it's fairly consistent. It's consistently improving, it's consistently doing well, it's consistently, growing and expanding, and, abundance is opening up in many ways. And then to be taken back to that state of mind and that state of body and state of spirit when you are so demoralized, and you go right to the moments of the most extreme abuse, and you remember vividly all of that, completely different reality. It just really conflicts with what's going on today. Because obviously I'm not perfect. I still have my insecurities and my flaws, and, the seeds that haven't been harvested, and the things that I'm still working on. And, it's really easy to fall into either two camps. One, okay, you know what? I'm actually doing pretty good, and I'm kind of liking the person I am, and, I feel cool. I feel, attractive in a larger sense. I feel my energy is attractive and is positive energy, and I feel I'm successful and I'm competent, and, these different things. But then if I start to focus in on it a little more, then I think, well, I don't know, really, am I, any better than than those past times. And, that's kind of just a thing that we all have to deal with in terms of managing our self-doubts and imposter syndromes and comparisons and envy and all these things. But then when we're having flashbacks to horrific times that do not reflect who we are, and we are ashamed and embarrassed of what we were doing in the past that led us into those situations or that led us away from our current reality, it's very easy then to believe the self-doubts, believe the insecurities, and really highlight the imperfections and think, well, I'm definitely not good enough. How could I possibly be good enough, or how could I possibly be healthy, or how could I possibly be attractive or competent or smart or lovable or a good person or any of these things if I'm in such pain. The pain reminds you of when you were down and out as much as you could be, and then feeling it again makes you think, maybe I'm actually a fraud, maybe I'm actually not doing that great, and maybe I should, take into account, how well I could be doing, which is a lot better. And honestly, it fluctuates with emotional state. That's why neuroticism is so frustrating, because it's just your sensitivity to negative emotion, and your sense of, self-esteem is really just, are you having, negative emotion? When I'm having positive emotion, I feel great about myself. I feel like, okay, I'm fine. You know what? Like, I'm confident enough. Like, I can handle myself. But when I'm having negative emotion, then I don't really have access to as many positive beliefs. So if I'm having frequent negative emotion due to the PTSD, then I'm frequently getting into self-defeatist thought patterns. I wish that I felt better about myself consistently, but that requires positive emotion. And for me, positive emotion is where I struggle. I struggle to feel positive emotion, compared to how I feel negative emotion is. Negative emotion is that's where that's my home base, is negative emotion. Positive emotion takes more energy, and it's just a constant struggle with reality. Not that I am delusional, but just that it's hard for me to feel a consistent sense of security because of the PTSD. I love when I just break down all these things, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's just the symptoms of PTSD. Like, okay, yes, the PTSD, I'm hypervigilant to threats. So I'm hypervigilant to criticism, which may be a threat to my reputation. It may be a threat to my sense of competence. It may be a threat to my own confidence in my discernment to be able to keep myself safe. It all just comes back to feeling secure, to feeling safe. Do I feel safe to think that I'm attractive enough? Do I feel safe and secure in my level of emotion regulation? These are the things that I end up thinking about, because I could, make more of an attempt to just say, okay, this is my, um, feeling or belief, like, oh, you know what, I'm good enough. Like, kind of take that, what most people, say to do, and what is generally discussed, which is that, you should try to cultivate a positive view of yourself and such. For me, what I'm saying is that I find it difficult to, feel secure enough in my appraisal of my conduct and the world's reception of me, to be able to relax, and just say, and just believe, yes, I'm good enough in this or this way. Because if I fail to have proper discernment, if I fail to correctly calculate my value, other people's value in relationship to me, how much to give, how much to take, if I miscalculate that could be, more trauma, that could be more abuse, that could be another sociopath, that could be another catastrophic error. So my brain is calculating for the worst possible scenario. And it's like, okay, it's just doing what it's meant to do, but it's interfering with my well-being. It's interfering with my ability to just trust the process. But I will say, it's easy to doubt yourself when you are getting emotionally dysregulated and getting into, fits of despair and weeping and sobbing and shaking and curling up in a ball and all these sorts of things. It's it's hard to have a positive view of yourself when you're seeing this, pathetic, weak and destroyed and ruined creature in that moment. It's not the only thing, but that's, you're seeing this vulnerable creature, and it's like, how could that ever be, how can I trust this person's opinion, I know we all struggle, everyone struggles with that, and that's what makes us alive and all, human. But with the PTSD, it's just everything is so much more severe, because for me, a bad date or a lack of boundary in this instance, or a miscalculation of where do I fit in here, or overextending myself, or whatever it is. To me, that triggers, that signifies, destruction. And I have a lot of pain in my body that it's not necessarily related to anything that's really going on today. There's no abuse or anything close to what happened. But it just doesn't take much to then. So and I'm very aware of this, and I wish my awareness made more of a difference, because, when you have, basically, I have a lot of pain in my body, and my brain remembers, vividly, um, all the details of why and how it occurred. And if there's potential threats picked up here, including just normal anxieties and normal existential stuff, which is intense anyway, if it picks up on that, it'll trigger. And my theory is that the pain in my body very much wants to be released. I mean, my policy on it has been just go ahead. Just release, just, I'll cry as much as I need to, I'll shake as much as I need to, I'll sleep as much as I need to, I'll vent as much as I need to, as long as I'm not hurting myself or others. It wants to be released, but I guess what it is I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that there's so much, because I really have been releasing a lot, for several years, and there's still so much, and that's very frustrating. So, I don't know. And it's like, what am I really afraid of? I'm obviously afraid. What I am is I'm just tired of reliving. I'm tired of reliving those horrible things. And I want to feel like I've moved past that. I want to feel like I'm different. But because I keep having it, it obviously makes me feel like I've not passed it. I'm not different. Even though my behaviors are quite different and circumstances are different and things are much better, I still don't feel secure, because how can you feel secure if you're basically being attacked by your own brain? How can you feel secure if you're being, it feels like you're being stabbed or punched in the face, because of the pain in your body? And it's like that self-preservation instinct kicks in, like, okay, I'm just gonna hunker down here. But then it's like it's inhibiting me from just living and doing the things that I, want to do. Basically, if so much of my energy wasn't being spent on these flashbacks and these, this pain and releasing it and going over the inner critic and all this kind of stuff, I'd have so much more energy to just live my life, which is what I want to do and want to get on with it. Unfortunately, you kind of have this toddler with you at all times. There's tantrums being thrown, and so you can only do so much. You have to take care of this sort of painful stuff, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying, and I don't really have much else to say about it. I had a good day today. Got a lot of stuff done, felt good about myself. I feel good about myself when I try. All the little things add up. It's like, I still say to myself every day, like, good job, Laura. Like, we showered, brushed our teeth, we put on clothes, we made an effort with our appearance, we went to work, we, made a lunch, like all of these things, because I know what it's like when you just don't do anything, when you can't do anything, when you're immobilized. So I reward myself for all the things that I accomplished, and I do feel good. I do feel good about what I've done. But it's like, I also, I'm wary because I get so triggered. So I'm like, but it's kind of like, well, I'm going to get triggered anyway. It's not that I'm going to purposely seek out things, or there's obviously, a spectrum of variations of triggering events, but, I'm going to get triggered anyway. I'm going to get triggered just sitting around, or I'm going to get triggered talking to someone, or I'm going to get triggered online. I'm going to get triggered anyway. So why can't I just, feel confident enough to, it's not even confidence. It's just a feeling of safety. It's a feeling like, it's not that I know that I can get through things. It's just to the point where I don't want to get through things. I just don't want to put myself in that situation to begin with. I don't want to have to recover from something. I don't want to have to recover from some painful shit that I endured. I'm tired of enduring. I'm tired of having to be strong. And unfortunately, I have to be strong. I have to endure. I have all this pain, and it's like you survive all this, you just want to be done, but you have to I'm tired. Ugh. You have to keep rolling with the punches, and that really is how it feels. It feels like I'm like a punching bag, and then I just kind of, I don't know. Let me just say, it's so weird to be so successful at many things, and we all have our different measures of success, but in my own eyes, my own appraisal is that I've been successful, and then I completely am taken down to this, despicable level of hell, where I'm feeling completely hopeless. It's very difficult to go back and forth between those states of consciousness, essentially. It's like I can be in this state of consciousness where, I could pretty much handle whatever. I could talk to anybody, I could handle this or that or whatever. But then there's states where, like yesterday, where I slept like 16 hours in a day, like 3 different long periods of sleep, because my pain was so intense that I just shut down. I felt nothing at one point, which is rare, that I'm just like, well, okay, like I surrendered to this. I don't know what to do about it. So that's kind of an update. That's kind of the situation with the PTSD. It's complicated, but really, I don't need to say any of this. None of this actually matters. This is all just frivolous detail that doesn't really matter. The point is that it really sucks, and it's very discouraging and demoralizing to go from what I would consider a normal, healthy range state of consciousness, average success of different areas, measurable goals and accomplishments and progress and healing and all this, and then to go into this despairing hell. And it's just, that's a trauma of itself. Living with complex trauma is a complex trauma itself, because it goes on so long, and it takes you in and out of reality, and it sucks. So